these exclusive listings, but lately I see a little bit that's going on. And some of those deals, I would say they came to me somehow, even though they were not public. So as a trend, I don't know if it's going to continue going, or are you seeing that consumer confidence is coming back and that people are more confident right now? They're going to say, listen, okay, I'm going to go public and I have people to come into my house, let them see, and let them go for it. So
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, we had a fair share of exclusive listings even before. As I said, there is a lot of reasons why people do that. I don't know, would COVID-19 maybe, make number of those listings higher than usual? I don't see that. Honestly, I don't see that.
I see.
Um, the real estate as a industry, as a business, was essential from the beginning of the COVID-19. As you remember, we were all on the list of essential businesses, and that literally did not mean that if you're essential that you can run your business the way you want. Our own brokerage, like my brokerage, Oak Park, Royal LePage, the office is closed. We do not have access to office, so we don't run the business as usual. We run business but completely different than we did it before. So as you said, when somebody has a listing now, and we had people who really had to list their houses, or people who really had to buy because they were in a situation when COVID happened. Maybe they already sold their property, and now what happened? They have to move out. So where are they going to live? And it's a COVID-19 situation. So they have to find a way how to buy the house. And that's why I think government kept the real estate as an essential business. Just because of that, we had to close transactions that happened maybe a month or 2 months or 3 months before COVID-19. And those people who were in a situation of closing those deals, they had to live somewhere, so they had to buy. So it was really kind of emergency situation for all of them, and that's why we stayed as essential. But as I said, it wasn't business as usual. Now, what we have as a government decision is that our open houses are illegal. Like, you can't have an open house anymore when you list a house. So technically, if I have a new listing, I can find a way how to do the open house differently. So we now do the virtual open houses, which we find a way how to communicate with our clients during the social media. Uh, we can set up the Zoom call, like I'm talking to you right now. So we can have a Zoom call open house. We can have an open house on Facebook Live or Instagram Live. Uh, Sometimes we can record our open houses, attach them to the listings on MLS, on realtor.ca. So when you access the listing, you can see the open house. There is a lot of people who record a walkthrough. So they just go through the property, walking with the camera and explaining all parts of the house, rooms, and that is actually very useful. They upload those videos on YouTube with the address of the property, and it's actually very useful. I actually had a few clients who didn't even wanted to go and see their properties that they're putting offer on because they saw the video. So they said, okay, we signed disclosure that we did not see. Most of the time we put that clause in that, client will go and see the property before firming up, but when it's safe for that to happen. But yeah, that's the situation. So my answer to your exclusive listings, yeah, maybe you just had a situation when you saw more of those. It very well could be that some people are, we're all acting differently in situation like this, and because of that, I found that some people were really scared. Some people were really not scared at all. So really chill, really cool with all this. And I honestly hoped that everybody are somewhere in the middle of those two. So not to impact your mental health so much by worrying too much, but not being so casual about it as well. So um, that's, I think some people took a measures like exclusive listings because they knew that, you know, it's not going to be public, it's not going to be impact on their property in terms of attention that much. But again, those properties that they are listed on as exclusive usually takes a longer time to sell because the marketing is different than marketing something that it's on MLS. And again, price wise, if you're lucky, you will get the full price of your for your property. But sometimes that's not the case, as it would be if you have a multiple offers on property on MLS. You sometimes get even more than what your property really worth, because sometimes people are really willing to put more, $10,000 more on the offer, thinking, what is $10 on 30 years
Yeah.
amortization, but I still get what I want. And that's the difference between, you know, listing on MLS and listing exclusive.
Totally. So what I've seen it like the chart they show me, it's pretty good. And then what I can see by the chart, it's actually, uh, you know, the prices going up to February, they come down a little bit and they start going up again. So what it tells me is that it's not just the price, it's higher if you compare it from apple to apple. Usually compare like, let's say, what month is that? May, June. June 1st, this next week is going to be June. Come, somebody's coming.
Yes, I know. Wow.
So June, compared to June 1st to June 1st last year, 2019.
Correct.
So comparing the both apple to apple, we'll see the price is actually is higher, and then it shows about 10% than the last year in June 1st.
Yes.
So that tells me that the market, we're still going to upwards point. And the other thing is, the only thing what I was worried about it, it's the new listings. I guess the new listings will come a little bit down. But what you're telling me, it's pretty much that there you go. I can see it on the left corner.
Yes.
Right, it says
So
10.1.
that's what I wanted to share with you. So you see the April 2020
Yes.
and April 2019. So
Wow.
you see April 2019, we're talking about Oakville right now. We're taking
Yes.
that as an example, but in April 2019, average price, sale price in Oakville was 1,076,000, which now you see even in a COVID-19 situation, you have average price 1.184.
100,000 up, which is almost 10%. So if you look in the price increase, you're talking about price increase, not price decrease, as the CMH's guy used to say.
So
So,
prices are going up, and even though some people were saying, yeah, all this we're gonna wait, and you know, when COVID is done, we're gonna buy houses close to nothing, and I think they have to say
oh,
goodbye
it's
to
just a
those
dream. A
hopes.
dream. It's just a dream about it. It's not
It's
gonna
not.
happen.
It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. I mean, as you can see, we took only Oakville as an example here, but we can go through different markets, and I can show you statistics, and it's really like I think uh, the only area of real estate that was really impacted is rental market in Toronto. And I think in maybe a couple months prior to the end of 2019, the rental market in Toronto was around 1,100 units, and then in April it was over 4,000 units. Uh,
Wow.
and that was all about, you know, those short-term rentals
Yes,
going
it
into
is.
a long-term rentals. Yes, so Airbnb was not capable of running their business during COVID. They have to transition to the long-term rental, and that's what impacted that kind of market drastically. Everything else in terms of sale and rental outside of the Toronto, which was not really Airbnb market that much, uh, was not affected.
Amazing. I'm so happy to see this. I'm so
So yes, if you want to buy, just buy right away because it's the right time.
going
it's
up.
it's interesting when people ask you when should I buy a house. I says right now. Do you have time? I can show you a few.
Exactly, exactly. It's always a good time to buy a house. Doesn't matter if it's COVID-19, COVID 2021, whatever. It's always a
Tomorrow,
good time to buy a
tomorrow
house.
is too late.
Oh, it's gonna be too late. Exactly. That's what I say all the time. It's just we're in a market that always goes up. We never go down. And it's been like this probably for the last 3 decades. When was the last recession? 1980s. The 80s ones went. So it's almost like a 4 decades right now, 40 years, and we haven't seen any price drop for 40 years. That's a long time.